everyone, I'm Jade and welcome to the channel. So, why are we here? Well, you know from the thumbnail. We're talking about my 2006 Epiphone Les Paul Standard. My favorite guitar. The guitar's birthday. Now, it's this guitar's 20th birthday, though I've had it for 19 years. It waited a year for me to find it. And luckily it did, because I got this in January 2007. So a little backstory. I started playing guitar in 2003 in school. In grade 7, it's an option. I don't know, depending on where in the world you are, or if they still do offer it. You can learn guitar, and I took to it really quickly, and it came to me easily, which when it came to school is not easy for me. But for guitar, it just clicked. The school of classical guitars. My uncle gave me an old one he had, and then I bought one that he found on Craigslist for $125. I'll insert it here. I was gonna have it here, but I'm on a bit of a time crunch to film right now. So yeah, I took to it, and I just have been playing every day since. And so it was probably the summer between grade 9 and 10 that I started thinking about electric. I can't think of anything in particular that inspired me other than, I don't know, I thought it'd be cool, and you know, I like rock music and stuff like that, but it wasn't like I heard something or yeah. And so I started thinking about it, and I started saving for it, and I had a little bit of like savings for my birthday and Christmas, and I was like, don't buy me anything, just, you know, it's the guitar fund. So I had a jar that was Jade's guitar fund. And so yeah, I saved for some months, and I think it's probably around December. I know I probably went to the music store before then looking at guitars, but it was like December, I think, probably maybe late November, that I really started looking. And I knew nothing. Like, I absolutely knew nothing. Like, I'd heard of Fender and Gibson. I'd never heard of Epiphone. And the two guitar stores where I lived didn't have Epiphone. But I thought they were cool, you know, they're Les Pauls. But yeah, so my uncle played guitar, and he was a Fender guy, and I tried so many Fenders, but I just like could not find one that worked, because he was really like, go for like a Mexican Fender, they're good. I just could not find one I clicked with, and I ended up at one of the music stores by my house. They had like a LTD version of a Les Paul. I'll find a picture and put it up, and you know, I picked it up, and it felt good, and it looked awesome, and I was all set to get that. And my uncle was like, you know what, I'm gonna take you to the big store, the big Long McQuaid, and we'll look there. And so we went down, and from looking at Les Pauls and guitars on the internet, I'd seen a blue one. It was a Blue Burst, which is a lot better than the Blue Burst they have now. I'm not a big fan of like I think they call it Blueberry Burst these days. It's like, has the purple in it. It's just, this one is just like blue and blue. And I saw one as soon as I walked in the door, but it was a lefty, and they didn't have any righties. So I looked, and this version of the store isn't there anymore. And it was just like a sea of guitars kind of on the floor on like shorter racks, and then like a wall of guitars. So I went and I found a black Les Paul, and those are cool. Like, they're classy looking, and it's like there's some attitude. And so I grabbed one, and the guy at the store plugged me into an orange stack. I don't know the model. By the way, I didn't have an amp for a year, almost a year. Like, it was 10 months before I got an amp. I just wanted an electric guitar, and I couldn't afford an amp with it as well. So plugged that in. I thought it was cool. And then my uncle, from like the sea of guitars, lifted over his head and went, what about this one? And it was this one. And it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And he brought it over. And now that I'm seeing that, I was gonna grab the strap. I've had the same strap as an old strap my uncle had that he gave me with it. And I just replaced it because the end of it was like not being held, and my mom took a vacation and picked me up from a market handmade strap. So anyways, that's a side tangent. So yeah, he brought this one over to me, and I plugged it in, and it sounded good, and it felt good, and it honestly, it felt like the other one, and it's just like, oh, which one to kind of go with, because they are so different, but they're cool in their own ways, and I ended up going with this, which I made the right choice. It is the most beautiful Les Paul ever made. The top on it's perfect. I don't know what you're going to be seeing, because if you could tell by the thumbnail, it's super flamey in the thumbnail, but sometimes it looks super plain. But what I love about this one is it doesn't have the seam. I don't love like the book match, especially really flamey, or like the tiger stripey stuff. Like it's really short flame, which I really love, and I'm just glad that I got it, because it's perfect. Well, almost perfect. Before I get to that, I actually have it in open E right now. So, but it's very acoustic. So having it without an amp didn't actually bother me that much, because I don't know how much that's gonna come across on there, but it's and I just love the sound. It sounds great. It was 13 years till I got my second electric guitar. This Telly right here. Finally found a Fender. Maybe I'll do a thing on that, as well as it was kind of kismet how that guitar came into my life. So yeah, this guitar. So over those 13 years, this was my main guitar. Like I played it every day, plugged or unplugged. But like the big thing with this guitar and my connection with this guitar just over the years, it came probably about 10 years ago, maybe 9 years ago, where I was kind of struggling with other creativity in my life, and I lost it a bit, and I kind of threw myself into the guitar and learned more kind of electric guitar. I had gotten into blues and stuff, had been into it for maybe a year or two-ish, probably more closer to 2, and I just was like, oh, I'm gonna sit down and kind of like really learn the electric guitar. And yeah, it kind of just saved me a little bit, kind of having that friend, which is weird to say about an object, but it was just kind of there, and I was able to kind of put myself into it and reconnect with it again, as my other creative endeavors weren't going so well. So for you that maybe want to play guitar and are looking at guitars, you really, especially if you already kind of play, maybe you have a crappy guitar and you're looking kind of for your own or something like that, finding a guitar you love and you connect with is really important, because it doesn't matter the cost of it, where it was made. It can last you a lifetime, and I love this guitar the same amount as today as the day I bought it. And finding that one that you connect with is something. There is something to it. It is weird to say, but it's true. There is something about it, and yeah. On a lighter note, I did mention this guitar is almost perfect. I have never loved the bridge pickup. It is ice picky and it's too harsh. And I've been saying I'm gonna replace it for probably 16 years, but I have never gotten around to it. So that is definitely something I want to do in this, 20-year anniversary, this whole year of celebrating this guitar of mine. If any of you have suggestions on bridge pickups, I'd like a neck pickup of bridge pickups. I'm generally more of a neck pickup girl, even on my Telly. But yeah, I'd like something sweet and crisp, but not harsh. Yeah, and on a bit of a budget too. If you throwbacks are awesome, probably, but I'm not going to be putting throwbacks in here unless someone from Throwback sent me some. I'm sure they're great, but they are not so fine on my wallet. Though it would be interesting to put a pair of pickups that were cost way more than the guitar itself. Oh, one note, actually, one story. When it comes to the pickups, I'll probably do the wiring. This switch needs to be done as well. It's kind of getting a little more movie than it is. I'm going to be keeping the tone knob in probably the pot because it's scratchy. Not in a, if I move it, it scratches, but it's like this weird... We all have those intrusive thoughts, or maybe not all of us, of like, when something stops turning, it's like, what happens if we continue turning it? I did that, and then for a bit it just like twisted freely until I took it to music store and they fixed it. But ever since then, it's scratched a little, and it's been like that for 15 years, maybe. So it's just kind of part of the guitar, and it'd be so weird not to have that. It needs new frets. I have quite a few divots, which would bring the frets down and the rest of them lower than I want because they're already low frets. I really like the frets in here and the size, and I do not want them any lower because they are low, and the divots in them would take them way lower than I'd like. So yeah, what is next for me and this guitar? I'm going to be working on more music and writing more, and 2026 is going to be that. And it actually started more as a creative challenge to myself. I've made some motorcycle videos, Backline Beat, ADB. I wanted to score them, and finally I've gotten a setup where that works. I did the videos in the summer and I went on a couple trips, but I didn't really have a good way to make stuff with my setup that was streamlined. So if you've made it this far, I sincerely appreciate it. You are a special breed, and thank you for enjoying my awkward. That, or you like to punish yourself with awkward, who knows. I'd love to have you around, and I much appreciate it. Thank you, and have yourselves a good one.